Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to create your first composition using GarageBand. First of all, in order to open GarageBand, you need to go down to the dock at the bottom and you should find this guitar symbol. Just click on that once and it'll open up a page similar to this. This is the older version of GarageBand. We've got the newer version of GarageBand at school. So you should have something in the top left here that says create new project or new project. If you double click that, it'd be the same as me clicking this button here. And I want you to save your work as composition 1 and make sure that you save it with the house symbol, and it will be a series of 4 numbers next to this house symbol. You can leave the tempo at 120 beats per minute because we can change that later, and I'd leave the key at C major for now. It doesn't mean that you have to record in C major, you can just leave that. So click create and the page will pop up similar to the one here. Okay, so as you can see at the moment we have a grand piano sound selected or created. What we're going to do to begin with is just make sure that our MIDI keyboard is working. So if you play the MIDI keyboard you should hear some sound. Let's have a see. Okay, I'll just open the keyboard diagram as well so you can see what I'm actually playing. Okay, so what we're going to do is record just 4 bars of chords just to begin with using the piano. I suggest you use the piano just to begin with, just to record your chords, and then we can change the instruments and investigate and explore the different instruments available later on. So if we click the this red circle down at the bottom, that's going to start the recording. What I always suggest is that you have a couple of bars just to get a feel for the tempo and then start playing from bar 3. Okay, and this, to stop the recording you can just press this button down here, or you can press the space bar on your keyboard. So as you can see, I've recorded 4 bars of chords there. If I double click this green bar, it opens up this matrix editor and you'll see that my performing is roughly in time, but if we wanted to improve that slightly we can use the mouse tool to select it all, click and select all of that, and then we can click align to. It'd be slightly different in the newer version of GarageBand. It'll say something like quantize to, or perhaps align to, and if we just use 8th notes, which is quaver notes, okay, 16th notes is semiquavers, quarters is crotchet. It's just the American version of what we call those notes. So if we click on 8th, it should move those notes just to more in time. Move this keyboard out of the way. You can use this function to go back to the start. This button here, go to the beginning of the song. This moves back 1 measure. 1 measure is again, it's the American term for bar. Play, it's obviously play the track. Fast forward, moving through. That's interesting. Actually just moves through by beat rather than bar. Anyway, let's carry on. So this is moved through by beat. I assure you that measure does mean is the American version for bar, so perhaps GarageBand's got it slightly wrong. And then this creates a loop so that you can just loop round and round. If you click up here with the yellow bar, you can actually move that loop so that it just plays, just goes round and round with the material we've recorded. So let's just have a quick listen to that. Now I noticed there was a small mistake there, so if you do double click it, I can just get rid of that mistake there. I can see it there. If you click on it, it highlights it, and then just click backspace and it will delete it. Press play again, it should sound much better. Okay, and as you can see we've got the loop on, so it will just keep on going round and round. Alright, in order to create a new track, we just click this plus icon in the bottom left hand corner. We want to create a software instrument track. Real instrument track is if you wanted to record live audio, whether it's through a microphone or maybe a guitar plugged in. But we just want to create a software instrument track, so make sure that's selected and then click create. As you can see, this whole host of instruments pops up. If you haven't got all of these instruments, don't worry about it. Just focus on the instruments that you do have. What I'm going to have a look at now is recording the bass line. So I'm going to choose bass and this Liverpool bass. And I'm going to get rid of the loop here just so I can go back to the start of the piece, press record, and I've still got 2 bars in. Okay, so press record again down here to start the recording, and then I can start playing at the right point. Okay, so I've recorded that. Just have a quick look. There's a little mistake here, so I can highlight that again and click backspace. I'm going to select all the notes again, just to snap them into time. And then we can click up here. It's another way of going back to the start of your piece. It's just by clicking up on the timeline here. Alright, so we've got the piano and the bass sorted. I think now we're going to add some drums. So again, click on the plus in the bottom left hand corner, click create, and we're just going to choose a drum kit. I always like using this hip hop remix kit. So the next step with the drums is to find out where the notes are for the particular elements of the kit. So if I just move down here, you can see it better. This C1 is the kick drum, E flat is a clap, E is a snare, D is a slightly different snare, and F sharp is a hi-hat. If we wanted to, we could use C sharp up here as a kind of a weird sounding crash cymbal. So what we need to do is record some sort of drum pattern. So we go back to the start again, and then we can record our drums. Once again, we click it, we can highlight the notes again, align to 1/8 notes, and let's have a listen. Okay, what you should have realized is that some of the notes have snapped to quaver notes when in fact they were semi-quavers. So I'm going to click up here where it says edit, undo fixed timing region, and this time I'm going to select 1/16 notes, and we should hear it sound just as we recorded it. Okay, so that forms the basis of our piece. We've learned how to use the MIDI keyboard to record parts in. We've learned how to add instrument tracks. We've learned how to quantize or snap the notes so they sound more in time. That hopefully will provide you with an introduction to creating your tracks within GarageBand. Now it's your turn. Off you go.